So, hello everybody. I hope you all are doing well and safe. I am Talyan Mehmet Hasanzadeh from SPE BHOS student chapter. Today we are in the third day of our career marathon volume 2 webinars, and our speaker will be Sima Radjabova. She works as HR specialist at Schlumberger company, and she will talk about succeeding in a new job. Now, I would like to mention one additional thing that if you have any questions, please, you can open your microphone or ask your question in the chat box. So I am leaving the stage for Sima Hanım. Sima Hanım, you can, I think, start now.
Yes, we can start. Thank you very much. So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining the presentation. Thank you for participation. I think some issues with microphone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay. So first of all, I want to thank Dalia and everyone who works on organization part of this webinar. We're happy to share our knowledge with the students. As you know, the topic of our webinar is succeeding in a new job. So we choose this topic for you since you are the students and in the near future you will find the job and start your career path. This period of life is not easy, but with this presentation we will try to share knowledge from our own experience and make you a little bit prepared. After the webinar, of course, you will have the chance to ask the questions. So let's start. Okay. So we will talk about there's an old expression getting there is a little half the fun. Of course, the process of finding a suitable job, creating your resume, filling out the required paperwork, and going through the interview process was probably not all a fun. But you won. Yes, you got the job. The real win is in keeping it. It's important to understand what you need to do after you have landed the job. And believe it or not, this part of the process can actually be fun. In this presentation, we will talk about how create a foundation and structure to help you succeed in your new job. We will talk at why it's wise to approach your new workplace with humility and what's called the beginner's mind and the importance of listening without judgment and being respectful of the new culture. So now we'll talk about how you should be prepared for your first working day. So congratulations, you got the job. When do you start? Your first day of work is the Monday after next. So just imagine. Well, that may be your first day at the office, but your job started when you accepted the offer. Start preparing right now. The company presumably gave you some onboarding documents, including an employee manual. So the first thing you have to do is to read them. So review onboarding documents and take a notes. Your next step is go the company's website. So visit the company website. Presumably you visited before you interviewed for the job, but now you will looking at it from the different perspective. Notice the new initiatives and plan for the future. Review the press release of the company. Who are the key players, who is moving up, who else is joining to the company. Maybe you will find your teammates from your department. It will help you to find something in common with your colleagues. Maybe you attended the same school or you are from the same city. Maybe you both use the work at the same company. This information will help you because you will soon be meeting them in the person. You want to try and really connect with them when you do. Something else you want to do to be sure is to do the expert research to include news about the job, about the company. So Glassdoor and similar sites can give you a sense of what's real like to work at the company. You're joining and what employees have said about the company and maybe they don't like something about this company. Of course, it will be their personal, subjective opinion, but this will help you to avoid any conflicts in the future and you will know how to behave in difficult situations. So, finally, you should check the online profiles of the people you will be working with at work. So, it can be on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and etc. And remember, the relationship you build will have a big impact on how successful you will be at your new job. So use that information to make friends. The next slide is in this slide, we will talk about how you should realize your new role. So, like most of us, I have a job where I'm on my first day of work. I was thrown in without having a clue about what I was supposed to do. So, approximately 5 years ago, I started my career as an HR intern in another company. On my first day, I was told to go through the old files and learn what I could about the job. That was the full extent of my training. Unfortunately, some organizations do not train their employees. They just have you start without much preparation or real guidance. Then, if you make a mistake, which invariably you will, it's your fault. That's terrible way to begin a new job. Here's how to manage in that type of environment. So, tell your new boss that you would like to hit the ground running on your first day, and anything he or she can do to ease the transition would be helpful. And be careful, be appropriate, and do not be too pushy or overeager. Get a clear picture of explanation exactly what you're supposed to be doing. That way, no one has to remember or will need to interpret what kind of things they said. The next tip is say yes. Be willing, be flexible, pitch in. The answer to everything when you are starting out is yes. Become known as someone who is always helpful. So remember is your formal job description may have a little or no relationship to the real work you will be doing, which is why you want to clarify about what's actually expected of you. And make sure that your boss and your coworkers are clear about that too. There's an old saying people join companies and leave the boss. Your relationship to your supervisor has a huge impact on whether you say and flourish or on your job. Important relationship you have at work, you are looking to build trust with your boss. So the next is um, the next two slides is about how company understand the phrase a reliable employee and what company expects from you. Successful relationship in the workplace and everywhere is in our lives are based on trust. Your most important relationship at work is the one you develop with your boss. Can he or she trust you? Do they know they can always get straight answer from you, even if means that you need to admit that you messed up? Are you respectful of their position in the company? Do you always have their back? Are you someone who always get the job done? And do they have a confidence in your ability to do so? So, by asking yourself these questions, you can understand what kind of relationship should be between the employee and the manager. And giving the right answer to them, you can build the trust between you and your manager and your boss. So, uh, as establish a good working relationship with the boss, here are three things to remember. So, first, co-create a schedule of face-to-face meetings or Skype meetings that allow you to freely exchange ideas and discuss your responsibilities and deadlines so both of you know exactly what needs to be done at all times and by when. The second thing you want to remember is that part of your job is to free up your boss time by handling things from him or her. In other words, take care about the business. The managers like having employees who always look for ways to help department operate more efficiently, who anticipate, who can free up managers' time. And third, close the loop. So, in other words, if manager asks you to do something, you want to get back to him and let him home. So, for example, A, it has been done, or B is being handled, or C, you run into someone problems. And here, what you and your manager need to do is to solve them. That's a big failing in the working world when people don't complete the last part of the process. And boss doesn't know where your stands and which gives him more work. So you want to be someone who is known as being honest, accurate, and efficient at all times. Someone who always focused on accomplishment and results. These qualities will help you build a healthy professional relationships which will provide the foundation for your success, your team success, and have your boss keep you around because they can count on you to be someone who's constantly delivers. So the next is why it is important to find the mentors and how can this help you in your career path. As you are beginning your journey in the working world or in a new industry, you won't actively search for people to mentor you. This journey requires one quality above all others, and the quality is humility. You need to be the honest with yourself that you have to learn a lot of things. Not knowing is not a sign of weakness. Pretending you do when you don't and faking it can be your undoing. A smart strategy is first of all is create very own personal board of directors. So they can provide advice in their particular area of expertise. For example, it can be your acquaintance who is lawyer or your friend who is sales specialist, people from different areas who can assist you in case of you need the advice in different area. Next, realize you can find mentors in the most surprising places. Be open to that. Your boss could be your mentor, a former teacher or professor, a colleague who works at the competitor, for example. If you listen to them, your a former teacher or professor. So if you listen them, then will direct you and help you in your career path. So it's very important to find a person who will not only give you advice, but also evaluate you from his own perspective and point out the strengths and weakness. So find the mentor who open to give you the feedbacks. Feedbacks are very important in your career path. They help us to develop and reach our targets. So why you need to introduce yourself to other people in the company. You should make friends with everyone in the company. Your team extends beyond the people you work with every day. So you will be interacting. So introduce yourself to the people in the company. It's not only about your colleagues. It's not only about your teammates. It's a sign of the respect that you reached out to introduce yourself to learn what they do and how you may be able to help them. This includes everyone, the receptionist, the people in HR, the people in IT. The company's organizational chart describes the formal lines of the communication, which need to be followed and respected. What I'm talking about are the informal lines of communication, the relationship you build with people in other departments. Make friends with everywhere. With everyone. People who like you in the company with whom you have respectful relationship are very happy to extend a professional relationship as well. A couple of things to remember here is, first of all, follow the rules. They are in place because the work and people in the company have learned that they have usually the most efficient ways to get things done. And second, be kind and respectful in every interaction you have with everyone in the company. Greet the security guard who lets you in the building with a smile. Get to know him or her. You don't have to be best friends, but that person over there, not a body in the uniform. He or she has a family and interest. Treat them with respect because it's a human thing to go and because it makes the business the good way of the sense. So your behavior with the team members during the learning process. So how you should behave with the team mates, with your colleagues. Humility has been described as the willingness to truly learn. Consider that you may have the things learn about your new job or company or industry and embrace the opportunity. Smart as you may be or think, you may be uh, know everything, but it's not the real. Have respect for the culture you are joining and the people who have been part of this company many years ago. So, first of all, be humble because you may be becoming from the outside of the company or another department. You offer a fresh perspective and new ideas. Presumably, that's a part of the person you were hired. But first, learn how things works around there. Wait before you begin to offer your brilliant ideas and get permission to go beforehand. Be invited to share your thoughts. So, my first tip to understand the environment you are joining. For understanding the environment which you are joining is you can use a technique like the called beginner's mind. It means being open and eager and not having preconceptions when you learn something new. It's said that it's a beginner's mind. There are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are a few. It's hard to learn anything if you think that you already have the answers to everything. So, also it's important to saying like knowing your place. So when you realize that you are new in this company, you understand that you should respect to everything around you, and if you have idea, if you have the suggestion, just wait the invitation for the sharing your ideas. So of course you should listen, and you should take notes. So it's important to take notes in writing because you want to minimize your mistakes which you will make. That's normal and natural. But doesn't work is continue to make the same mistakes without adjusting your behaviors. So by taking your notes, you will understand that where you make the mistake, and it helps you to adjust, to make the adjustments. So one of the hardest things about a new job is that many people are afraid to ask the questions. Now we will try to understand why it's important to ask questions and how you should do it. So you can ask anyone for help. First of all, in many workplaces, the chain of command is rigid. If you need to ask for paid time off, you go to the certain person. If you need supplies, you go to another. There's no such structure when it comes to asking for guidance, clarify, or collaborations. The person you should ask for help is the best person to provide. It's just that simple. You should also be willing to ask for help or advice from your team members. So the next one is ask early, ask often. Just because you have, for example, missed an official window to ask the questions, it doesn't mean that your window is closed forever. It's better to ask the question before the beginning of the assignment. But if you miss that chance, prepare your questions and ask your supervisor during the project. So also frame your questions to get the answer you want. People often reframe or soften their line of questioning in the interest of being polite. Try to figure out how exactly what you are asking before you ask. To do this, it can be helpful to write out a few versions of the question, deciding on the best one. So don't look for the response you want to hear. If you are asking the question, you have to be ready for any response, even if you don't like the answer. In the workplace, in your life, it's important to seek out a variety of options and give them the equal weight. After all, it's not the worth asking a question if you are unwilling to hear the answer. If you are unsure, again, ask the question. So, not every answer is going to be crystal clear. If you receive one that ambiguous or leaves you scratching your head, don't be afraid to follow up. Maybe the person you are speaking with didn't understand you, or perhaps you need to paraphrase your request. Whatever the reason for miscommunication, don't walk away pretending you have an answer when you don't. If you really feel you cannot do anything else to better frame your request or query, you're better off looking for alternative source. So remember, there are no stupid questions. So every time be ready to ask the questions. The next one is way to make a good impression on your first day at work is to remember names of your coworkers. It's not an easy task because there is only one of you and there may be dozens of them. The faster you remember their names, the easier your job will be. Your coworkers will appropriate this and have the impression that you care enough about them to put forth on effort. So, first of all, pay attention. As you are introduced to your new coworkers, pay very close attention to each person's name. You will probably form an impression of each person. So mentally associate the name with something would help you to remember the name of this person. Repeat. As soon as you know the name of the other person, look at him or her in the eye and repeat in the most natural way possible. Something like, "It's nice to meet you, Taylor," or "I look forward to working with you, Nit," are examples of how you can do it. If in doubt, ask. As soon as you realize you can't remember a person's name, ask them. Doing this early in your working relationship is better than waiting until you have been 3 months, for example. Most people understand that you have quite a bit to remember your first few days or weeks, so they are not as likely to be offended as you would be later. So, the next slide is about the feedback. So sometimes it's hard to get the negative feedback. Mostly employees get feedbacks from their boss, managers, supervisors, but also it can be your close colleagues. So everyone should be open to get the feedbacks, even if they are negative. So let's try to learn how we should to react on the negative feedbacks. First of all, don't take it personally. Employees think that if they got the negative feedbacks, it means that their leader doesn't like them. But feedback is given because your leader sees you have the ability to go better, to become greater, or to master your skill set. When you think of it that way, it's actually sort of a compliment. Of course, that doesn't make it easier to hear, but focusing on the fact that your boss knows that you can perform at a higher level can help you to see the negative feedback is not so worst. So the next is if you disagree, do so with tact. It's common response to immediately feel defensive after receiving the negative feedback. It's a common response to immediately feel defensive. So, in feedback situation, uh, they don't happen often. So it's important to make sure you're definitely being criticized in error before saying that believe that feedback is getting wrong. First, be completely sure that you understand the feedback had been given you a reasoning behind. If you're confident that the negative feedback was given you in error and you decide to say something about, it's imperative that you push back with diplomacy and try to make it in the tact. So just not react emotionally that if it's back feedback, so like I am not agree. So just realize that really you understand the feedback. Really you understand the negative of this feedback, and how you will react is depends on when you understand that yes, I make something wrong, so I try to understand that. Or maybe your manager thinks that you make something in the bad way, but when you explain that why you did it, so it's get the picture more clear. The next one is show initiative as soon as possible. If the feedback is not wrong, the best thing you can do moving forward is come up with a plan to fix the problem. Take initiative as show you care about improving. If you want to continue to grow in your career, either within your current company or with another, you should respond back to your supervisor within a couple of days. For example, if you had been told you need to improve your communication style, then you might talk to peer about how they communicate on their work projects, and then compare that information to what you normally do. Then share your findings with your boss. Let your supervisor know that you have looked at other ways to communicate with a team and plan to adapt some of the methods in your work. So in summary, yeah, in summary, we understand how to be prepared for a new job. So expectation and reality about your new role. What means to be a reliable employee in the work environment? The role of the mentors in your new job. So, what means beginner's mind technique, and the importance of asking the questions. So, how to react on negative feedbacks. So, thank you for attention. So maybe someone have the questions.
Thank you for your presentation, Sima Khan. Yes, we have some questions. The first one is Ferman Mikhalzadeh. Hello, is it normal for a new employee to get excited?
To get excited? What do you mean? Can you please clarify?
Maybe Ferman wants to clarify it, but is it normal for a new employee to get excited? Maybe he wants to mention that when the employee begins to work, and is it normal to get excited on the first days?
Mm,
Yes, I agree. I agree with you.
so 1 minute, please. Actually, it is normal to get excited because it's your first day. So maybe you know that the employee has a probation period. So this is 3 months. Why these 3 months are giving as a probation period? In this period, you are adapting to the new environment. So everyone in the company, everyone in your team understand that you are new, and you are getting excited because you are not familiar with the work you are doing. So that's why we are saying that it's important to have the mentor. It's important to have someone who you can rely. You can ask the questions, and you can ask for example, if you have the question not about the work, it's about the structure, about the company, some difficulties maybe. So you have if when you are exciting, it means that uh, you care about your work, you care about what you are going to do. So it's normal, and you have to understand that everyone around you also has been in this situation, and you have to understand that your team will help you in this situation. So maybe if you have the questions, it's important to have the questions. So it will help you to realize that it's a normal work. You have the tasks, and you have it's normal to make the mistakes. That's
Understood. Thanks, Sima Khan. Thanks, Tamir Khan.
Afak Hashimova, waiting for the invitation. This is, I think, from the presentation. As a new worker, our manager or boss will ask for our ideas on specific topics. This is a question, or you meant we should wait for the right environment?
so. As I understand that the question is, should you wait the environment for the invitation for the sharing your ideas? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So when you are, for example, just imagine that you have the round table and you have the meeting. Uh, you Everyone shares their knowledge, but first of all, the manager, your supervisor, your boss, asks the questions. You are thinking the question, and your manager asks to share each employee's opinion. So it's better to wait your cue and then to share your knowledge, then share your ideas. So it's impolite to interrupt someone with your idea, or it's impolite to interrupt someone when they're sharing their idea about the project, for example, and the question which is in the discussion.
I think it's clear. Hamzat Hudulov, when you are given a team project, is it better to act like a team leader?
Okay. Actually, if you have the team leader, it's better to wait that team leader will be doing his work. So if he has the role of team leader, you should wait that he will show his team leading. Then maybe if you have some advice, or you have maybe you think that you can correct your team leader, you can share with him his your advice, and I think that you can discuss. But if you don't have the team leader in the in for example in this project, which is not real, then yes, you can take the leading on your hands.
Then Elmin Nasibzadeh, can you give some ways to find a mentor? Thank you.
Okay, ways to find the mentors. It's a good question. So it's not easy to find the mentor. First of all, it can be the someone from your team, so from your department. You in communication with the people, you understand who is open to communicate, who is open to make the friends, who is open to be your mentor. So it's not about just coming for someone and say that, could you please be my mentor? No, you should to wait when you understand the environment. You should wait when you understand the people who are around you. If the person is close, if the person do not like to share the knowledge, if the person do not like, for example, share about the information about the work what is he doing, uh, you understand that yes, this person will not be the mentor for me. So it depends on the situation, it depends on the people you are working. But honestly, from my own experience, I have never um, have the target to find the mentor. So it was happens like I see that this person just sharing with me some information, she or he sharing with me describing me the work, and talk me with about the the company, about how it works in this company. So then you understand that you can give the questions for this person, and your relationship are building like this person becoming your mentor. So this person is choosing the role of the mentor. So first of all, it's better to understand that environment and understand that whether this person is open for making for sharing the information with you.
Clear, Sima Hanım. I have one question that. So,
Yeah.
what kind of questions can we expect about the companies itself during the interviews?
About the company, you mean about
Yes.
okay. So actually, if you are on the interview, it is it depends on which stage of the interview. So actually, the question is can be about the work of the company. So where is in which sector this company is busy, for what this company works, and what kind of work is doing this company. It can be the history questions about the company, when the company have been was created, or who was the creators of the company. It's depends on the stage of the interview. But the questions of the company actually, uh, why we giving the questions about the company, it shows that how the candidate is interested in the company, and whether the candidate realize that where he will be work, and for what he will work, and why he want to work in this company.
Clear. Thank you very much, Sima Hanım. One more question. Kevin asks, what should we do if our manager blames us for things that others do, just because we are new to the company? This happened to me in my first job.
Okay, that's an interesting question. So um, actually, it's so the question is about that the problem happens in the during the teamwork, or so if something you make wrong, yes, it's normal when you are getting the negative feedbacks. But if actually how it's happened at work, if something wrong, uh, the the mistake is with everyone. So everyone in the team will be blamed for this in the company, in the team, because we are responsible for the work. We are responsible for the business. And when we realize that we are team, we understand that it can be the mistake of everyone. But if you make the mistake, so it's normal to have the negative feedback from the blaming from the manager. If you want, you can clarify your question, the situation, so it can be clear, more can get more clear answer.
I'd like to ask through microphone. Yes, sure. Javad Karimov.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Firstly, I want to say thank you so much for this presentation and this organization. I have one question about interview process. If during the interview I cannot explain my thing in English, and I do that in another language, how it affects the process of the interview? Thank you.
What you can't explain in English?
My things in the interview process, what I want to say in English, but I cannot say this in English, and I think I do that in another language.
Okay.
For example, in Russian.
Okay, so it's not a big fail during the interview, because everyone at the interview understand that you are excited. So and the English is not your mother language, so it's normal to forget the word. Actually, it happens with everyone, not only with someone who is on interview. So it's not the end of your interview, and it doesn't show that you you don't know the English, so it's not the big problem for you or for people who are interviewed you. Actually, it depends on the position which you are applying. For example, if something related with the language skills, where it's important priority to have the fluent English, for example, and you have some problems with the language, no one time like that, several times you are forgetting some words, yes, it can be the problem. But if it's just the communication, just the interview, and you forgot one word and you replace with the word in another language, it's not a big problem.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
We continue with Ali's question. How to handle natural hesitation in our first days at job? What should be our approach towards our HR if we want to get some helpful tips from him?
Who's this question? 1 minute.
Ali Hasnain Miran.
So could you please clarify the question? What do you mean? I didn't find this question. 1 minute.
Okay.
Could you please
I will
just
repeat it again.
Yeah.
How to handle natural hesitation in our first days at job? So I think it's somehow the same with Fermat's question. How
so
to get
you are excited?
Yes, exciting, yes.
Okay. So how to handle it's actually you just try to
yes, Ali, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but it's not about excitement. You know, I think like at the first days at job, people can be hesitate to ask something or to do something. You know, there is excitement as well, but at the same time there is a bit pressure on your mind that you are sitting with the people who have a lot of experience. So this kind of hesitations, I mean.
Okay, so the hesitation of, for example, the sharing your opinion among the experienced people, yeah, you end in this way, yes. So so first of all, you should. So how it comes from my own experience, I just imagine that these people also have the first day at work. So they get experience from the years, and it doesn't mean that they know everything. So yes, they are working in this company, for example, for the 5 years, and they know more about the company rather than you. But you should to understand that it was someday when they was first at this company, and the first day at this company for them was difficult as well for them. So just say yourself that it's okay to be excited, to hesitate, and understand that it's normal. So you share your opinion, and even if it's wrong, you will be corrected from your manager, from your supervisor, and it's not something very difficult or blames on you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Ramil asks a question. Could you give some sample, answer to question, why you, which is asked in interview stage? Why should we hire you? This question, Sima Khan.
Okay, so actually it's mostly the students interested about the interview stage, about the questions we are asking from the HR side. So why you? Could you give some sample answer to the question? So it's not the special approach for this question, because when you're applying for the job, you have the passion for this job, and you understand how you like this job, how you like your profession, and you're sharing your knowledge. First of all, you're sharing your knowledge, you're sharing your how you know your work. So it's not like you should say the structure like you have to say that you are a good one, you have the experience, you have something like this. No, for example, let's say that hiring the waiter, the simple example, the experience of this person will be seen during the interview. So you share your experience, you share your knowledge, you give the case, for example, the some problems during your previous experience, and you describe like how you handled this situation, or you describe you share the knowledge like the soft skills which you use during the solving this situation. It depends on the position which you are applying, but the special ability which you have can be showing during the interview. So sometimes the people on the interview think that the question why you it like mm, it decides it solves the every problems. Like I answered this question in a wrong way, therefore I didn't get this job. No, actually this question is giving from for the people for understanding the main reason why they want to be in this company.
I think your answer was very good and enough. One more question related internship. Considering the current situation, should we wait any intern opportunity in this summer? Thank you very much in advance.
Okay. So actually we cannot make the plans for the internship in this year because we are waiting for the solving the pandemic situation. So any information will be shared from our recruiters and on our official website. But for now, we don't have the plans.
Okay, one more question about interview. Ferman asks, how accurate is it to ask any HR how much will we be paid? Or how should we respond if HR asks us this question?
Okay, so it's about the expectation of the salary. So when it's not the accurate asks the question, so how much I will be paid, because sometimes the HR thinks that the main what the person is interested in the salary. So in actually it's happened like HR asking the expectation of the salary from the interviewer, and it is not normal to say that I am first to say that I am waiting for that you will offer me like this salary.
We continue with Sana's question. As I know, there are some online training that employees can take them to improve themselves. Question is that after finishing daily project, is it acceptable to stay overtime if the working hours also finish to take those trainings in the company?
Sorry.
Sanan Salahov.
Could you please repeat the question?
Yes, sure.
Sorry.
As I know, there are some online training programs that employees can take to improve themselves. And question is that after finishing daily project, is it acceptable to stay overtime if the working hours also finish and to take those trainings in the company?
Okay, so the trainings from the company, so trainings is for the employee, not for the company. So you are passing the trainings, you improve yourself, you improve your skill set, and you reaching your promotion. So the trainings is for the employee, for the improving of employee. And if this training, for example, is mandatory and you are staying over time, so you are working on you. and you are working on your skills. If you're asking to pass, for example, the training for the current project, and it is expected that you will over time to be on the training, and your manager knows about it, it's most probably that you will be paid your overtime.
One other question. Are you, as a member of recruitment team of Schlumberger, planning to hire fresh graduates for training positions in upcoming months? If yes, is there any exact months that you planned?
So first of all, the recruiting part is on our recruiters. So we are not recruiters, and the plans are making from the recruiters. But as per our last communication, there's no expectation for the new hiring in the company for now.
Okay, Behram has raised his hand.
Yeah, I have a. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. I missed the part of the closed loop. I missed the main there. Could you explain again, please?
Which part?
Close the loop.
Okay. Close the loop. The part of the close the loop is about the extending your relationship in the company. So it's not about the being with the being with your team members only. It's about to be friends with the people from the whole company. It's not about the real friends, but it's about to introduce yourself. For example, you are introducing yourself to another people in the company from the another department, so you are getting to know each other, and it helps you to be the knowing in the company.
Yeah, my question about that. In a company, such a big company, is there are much of the departments you cannot connect with all of them. At least
Yeah, sure.
all of
Yeah.
them. At least one person you can acquaintance, or I know you can connect with them. It's not a problem. It's a problem.
So if you are working in the big company, yes, of course, you can't be to know with everyone or to be the friends with everyone. It's about to be open to communication with the people from the another department. So it's not just about the coming to the company, working in your room and leaving the company, and no one knows you, and you are not open for communication.
Yeah, understood. My second question about that this feedbacks. You know, in Azerbaijan, from the perspective of respect, the managers of your supervisors, your colleagues are not mean to give you feedback. I know, and at least the negative feedback about you. They don't want to test your relationship with with uh, with us. About that. How can I get this feedback if I want to get better?
So how to get the feedback from your supervisor?
Yeah,
How to ask the feedback? Yes, you mean this?
yeah.
So if you want, so it's a good question actually, because it's when you want to get the feedback, you can communicate about this with your manager, with your supervisor. So you can ask for making assessment of your work. Making assessment of what you make during, for example, 3 months or 5 months. So asking that, could you please just sharing with me how do you think how I handled this or another work? It's better to make with your supervisor.
Yeah, understood. Thanks very much.
Welcome.
Sima Khanum, one more question. Two more questions, I'm sorry. I would like to ask one question more. In the interview, they ask, for example, how and in what position you see yourself in 5 years. What kind of answers HR is expecting from us?
Okay. So you're just asking the question which you have get from the from your interview. So you should be honest. First of all, during the interview, you should be honest, and you should answer like, what's your target? What's your planning for the 5 years? So the people who are asking you is not waiting from you to get the feedback like I want to be in 5 years, for example, manager or the team lead or supervisor. They are asking this question for understanding which the where you want to be in the 5 years, about your skills, about your knowledge, not about your position, not about your salary. It's about how you want to develop, to be developed in the 5 years.
I think we can continue. And the last question, I would like to ask about Fresh Out program, which first stage online assessment, online interview hold in July. Do you have any information about for second stage? When does SLB plan to arrange second stage? Thanks in advance.
So yes, I also know that you have the in July, and we discussed with our recruiters, and they the problem is about, as you know, is about the pandemic. So it's safe to to not get a lot of new hired persons. So they are making plans. They are waiting for the situation is getting better. So unfortunately, there's no exact times, deadlines, and plans. So we, as everyone, waiting for the getting situation better. So most probably you will, if I'm not mistaken, when you pass the online assessment and online interview, which will hold in July, you have been informed that it's not exact time and date of the next stage.
Yes, that's all. I think we are done with questions. So I think we can end up our webinar. I would like to thank you for firstly the Sima Radjabova. You joined our session and it gave a lot of information. And one more, I would like to thank you for all participants who joined us today. I hope we'll meet again in the next few days. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Yoto. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Bye.